Good morning, guys. Today is Friday, April 3rd, and it is day 17 of quarantine. 17 days and counting. 30 more. But who cares about that? Today, I'm going to show you how I make coffee. The important thing about coffee that you should know is you've been probably making it wrong. So come and find out how to make it right. So here's what you're going to need to make coffee the right way. Coffee, scale, coffee pour over by Vario, maybe, coffee filter, electric tea kettle, postcards telling you where you got your coffee from, and tasting cups, mug from the Chris Kindle Market 2019, and coffee grinder. First thing you do, fresh water for your coffee. Now don't use tap water to get that stuff, no, zero water filter. This thing right here, great, high quality, clean water with zero particulates in it. That's gonna produce the best tasting coffee. So while the water is warming up, what can we do? We can figure out how much coffee can actually go into this, because I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure it's around 200 grams, we'll figure that out right now. And then we gotta actually grind the coffee, all while that's heating up. So the best way to figure out how much coffee actually goes in a cup is take your cup and we're gonna put it right into the sink here. And then we're gonna turn on our scale. Now I do everything in grams because that's just easiest for me, but realistically a scale can measure any measurement and the number really doesn't matter. So let's take a look at what we got. 0, we put it on here. We're at 460.8. We're gonna tear it out back to 0 and dump the water out of it. All we did was just change the weight of the water, and now we're at minus 209. So about 210 grams of water. I do a little bit over because sometimes the water gets stuck in the coffee, so it kind of loses it. So I'm gonna put about 220 grams of water on top of it. Why does that matter? Because if you put more, it's gonna overflow. You don't put enough, you're not gonna have enough coffee in your small, Chris Kindle Market mug. Now, how do we figure out how much coffee we need? Now, I use a real simple number, and that's 7 grams. 7 grams per 100 grams of water. So real easy. That way I know I need 200 grams of water. 2 times 7 grams of coffee is 14 grams of coffee is what I need. So we're gonna do the exact same thing so we can add our coffee in. Now, because I am an unrelenting coffee douche, of course, I can't just drink any coffee. I'm not drinking Folgers. No, I'm gonna drink single farm, single origin, high quality coffee from a company called the Coffee Atlas Club. They're really cool. It's one of those boxes that you buy on a monthly basis. I'm not, selling this, I'm just telling you what I drink. And it's a subscription based. It's really cool. They have a little card that tells you all the tasting notes. From Burundi, a coffee sure to be an experience for specialty coffee lovers. With notes of honey, a silky dark cherry body, brews a sweetness similar to that of raisin or dried fruit. Hey, I'm making a video here. On top of that, they also send really cool postcards with cool designs you can send to other people. It's like a promotional thing, but also tells a cool story. So we're gonna take that coffee, put it into our grinder, and the same thing, we're gonna take the top off, just like that, and we're actually gonna insert the coffee into the top here, and that's how we're gonna grind it. We're gonna scale it out on the scale, and then get it ready for preparation. So just put the scale on there, and put the coffee, tear it out. Make sure to use a special device called a spoon, and spoon in the right amount of coffee. Again, about 14 grams. 15. It's good enough for me. Close up the top. And then twist this thing like it's gonna cure Corona. Is that a bad joke? So at this point, some of you might be like, listen, John, I don't have an electric tea kettle. I don't have whatever the hell this is called. I don't have fancy coffee. Can I still make coffee the right way? Absolutely. Number one, you got hot water. Take a regular pot, put water in it, any kind of water. Don't use a zero water filter, that's fine. Boil it, get it right to a slow boil, done. Coffee, you can buy anything whole bean at any convenience store. Well, it's coronavirus, you can't go. Use whatever you got. Folgers is fine. I wouldn't recommend it. It probably won't turn out as good because this actually brings out the flavor instead of covering it up by making it super hot. Oh, I don't have a little funnel thing to make coffee with. Don't worry about it. Just use a plastic funnel. You probably got a nice one in your cabinet. You don't, also super cheap and expendable item that you can make in any other form or fashion. What about coffee filters? I don't have these fancy coffee filters that are designed to bring out the best flavor. That's cool. You have a paper towel. There's a lot of these things you can just get pretty simply for pretty cheap. So even though this whole starter kit of all this coffee gear might be in the vicinity of about $100, still you could really do it with what you already have. Turn on the scale, put the coffee mug on there. Remember, we need around 200 grams, right? Put that right on top. I'm gonna put the coffee filter inside of that. Boom. Now the coffee filter itself is gonna have a little bit of a paper flavor, so we gotta wash that out. And this way it also makes the filter stick to the side. Beautiful. Now dump the water, stick it right back on there, get your coffee, and all we're gonna do is take the coffee that's in the bottom, that's the good stuff. Oh, it's all grinded down. Take that. Let's make sure we got around 14 grams. It should be pretty close. 13.9, I'll take that. Sometimes coffee gets lost on the top or on the sides. It's not a big deal. Tear it out again. Add the first 50, so that way it can bloom. That's what this process is called. Lets all out carbon dioxide. There's a little timer here. If you want to hit this timer, go ahead. All right, 15 seconds is good to me. I have to add the next little bit. I do it in stages of about 50 grams at a time. That way it makes it a little bit easier for it to kind of get through, and also adds the right level of flavors in between. If you just stuff it all in there with 200, it'll come through, but it'll be very, very thin. Another 50 or so on there. Keep an eye on the timer. It tells you exactly how much time has passed, and you can also keep an eye at the actual level of it. So once it kind of drops down, you can just add a little bit more. Now we're getting close to the end, so I'm just gonna top it off to 220, which was the original number that I wanted to get to. 222, perfect. Check it out. 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and it looks like we're done. You can lift up the top and see if anything's still dripping, and no, it is done. So we're gonna take this, put it right over the garbage can. We got rid of all the grounds, and look at that. The perfect level. I mean, it's black on black, so you can't really tell, but you can see there's like a little white Chicago Chris Kindle emblem, and it's right there, so it's a perfect amount. I hope you guys one day get to enjoy coffee properly made with really high quality, single origin, something from Burundi, like I got, which is really delicious, and what we're about to see, I already had it yesterday, so I kind of know, but oh, it smells great. If you haven't had a shot, or you feel like you can't do this, watch this video a couple times. It's not gonna be a problem. Cheers. That's hot. Shit, that's hot. I'm kidding, it's delicious, I'm just joking. So now that we got our coffee made, let's talk about what's going on in the world. Our life has been turned upside down. I think me and Paulette are in a very fortuitous position, I think a lot more than other people. We've had enough money to buy every supply we've needed. We've stocked up on every single item we possibly could. Not to an egregious level, because you see our apartment, we don't have the space for that kind of stuff, but to a level that makes us feel comfortable. But we're getting to the point where it's starting to get a little outrageous. Now that the dust has started to settle, we're 17 days in, yet we have 30 more to go. And so we're starting to get worried about other people. With us, we're choosing not to pay bills or pay rent or spend our money on non-essential necessity. For others, they don't have that choice. I'm a part of a Chicago service industry page, and on there, one of the biggest threads that got started was somebody who said, I don't even have a penny to my name right now, and I have no idea how I'm gonna get any more. It's starting, guys. Everything that we have been talking about for the past 2 weeks is beginning to happen. We have 4 more weeks until we might see some semblance of business open up again. By that point, even people like myself and Paulette are gonna be staring down the barrel of being completely broke. It's a very real situation, and our society is about to undergo a massive change, and we have to think individually about what we want to become as part of that change. Unfortunately, we can't just sit on the sidelines. Even if you're watching this video, you know just as well as I do that we don't have a choice in what's happening, but we have a choice in what we decide to think about what's happening. I hope you're cherishing these moments. I hope you're enjoying watching this video as I make coffee and joke around a little bit, and enjoy watching TV and enjoy spending time with your family, because going into the future, I'm not sure how much of this we're gonna look back at as the ignorant bliss of this time. Just like many other major events that have happened out throughout history, the people who lived in the moment before the event had no idea it was going to occur. Before Pearl Harbor, no American thought we would get into World War II, and as soon as that day happened, guess what? Off to war many Americans went. We are living in extraordinary times and in an extraordinary situation. In these trying times, it is important, it is essential that you keep your mentality strong. A lot of what this fear creates is uncertainty, and uncertainty creates someone who's a lot more easily manipulatable by the media. And if you think the media, or anybody on the media, is your friend, you're really gonna be shocked to find out that nobody is telling the truth. Everyone has an agenda, everyone is biased, and everyone knows more than what they're letting you on to believe. We need to understand that social media is just as toxic. There's a lot of people on social media who are just parroting the same things they saw on mass media. We need to think for ourselves. We need to be independent thinkers. People who are willing to step outside the box. People who are willing to consider other people's opinions who might be controversial. Not because they are absolutely true, but because thinking outside the box is what makes you a stronger individual. My biggest hope is to just wake up on May 1st and President Trump comes on TV and says, listen guys, that's enough of this horseshit quarantine. Back to work. We blew it totally out of proportion. Don't even worry about it. And I'm back in a bar where I belong on May 1st. Let's all drink our coffee and cheers to that hope.
Hi friends! We are out on a wonderful walk outside with Bubs. Notice how John and we're not wearing our winter jackets.
For the first time, we are actually in a jean jacket, and well, I guess yours is a jean jacket.
What?
And it is beautiful outside for the very first time.
According to our phones, it is 60 degrees outside, so it truly feels like spring. It's sunny, it's beautiful, people are outside, it's great. It really does feel like a normal day.
So we saw something that is a sign of the times. We saw basketball hoops with 2x4s wrapped over the top of them in zip ties at that park that you guys have seen plenty of times. How ridiculous is that? I saw the park district out there, you know, putting stuff up on the hoops. I thought they were replacing the nets, but they were actually putting these 2x4s to discourage people from using it. Guess what people did?
Took it off.
It's already gone. We didn't get any footage of it because it was too busy. The park was absolutely packed with people. At least like 15, 20 people were there. The cops rolled past, saw it, and just kept going.
We just passed by Low Res, one of our frequent spots when we go out. It's a really cute local brewery near us. And what comes to mind is that today, on a beautiful day like this, it's sunny, it's gorgeous, I want to have a drink outside. Who would have ever thought that in this time, all restaurants, all bars would be closed? Like, I would give anything to have just be able to say, babe, let's go out for a drink, right, babe?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like the biggest thing people aren't realizing is how hurt the entire service industry is by this. I mean, I'm a bartender. Everybody I know are bartenders and servers and managers in restaurants. I don't know anything else. So everyone I know is out of work, and that seems like petty to a lot of people. But the fact is that all of us are here just walking around. There's nothing else to do except walk or stay inside. What would you get for a drink right now?
I would give a lot for a drink. I would love for us to be able to just hop on the 8 bus like we usually do when we want to go explore somewhere new and just stop somewhere and say, hey, let's get a drink. Let's get a bite to eat.
Even though we've already had a few drinks today.
I would love another one.
The big thing right now is virtual happy hour. We're really trying to set up a virtual happy hour on Zoom where we can get together even digitally through FaceTime, webcam, on Zoom, whatever it's called on there, and be able to host a bunch of people just drinking together, having a good time, and kind of connecting even on a digital level. If you guys are interested, leave a comment below or message out to me, and I'll try to set something up.
The more the merrier.
Maybe one too many drinks, man.
Alright, let's see what we got!
Can you believe this?
Oh my gosh! I'm seeing a lot of stuff. I'm seeing bread, which is a really bad idea, but I'm getting bread, so. My parents just came by, super randomly. My mom, she has this tendency of texting me 24/7, which is a little overbearing. And so when she called me 3 or 4 times consecutively, I just thought that she was just being overbearing again. But then, little do I know, she texts me, we're outside your place, come on out. We were just on a walk with Bubs. So we come home and she's there, and she and my dad both came bearing at least 6 or 8 bags full of groceries or my mom's amazing homemade goods. So John and I are about to organize everything and put them in the fridge, but I'm stunned, I'm shocked. I definitely wasn't expecting this at all.
What I did find strange was just the interaction they had with us due to social distancing. Normally they're huggy people, they're gonna hug us, they're gonna shake hands, they're gonna say hello, they're gonna give us kisses. But due to a recent tragedy, they are hyper vigilant.
I think a big part of the reason why my parents are taking these kind of precautions is because unfortunately their very close friend from church and just a huge part of the Calvary Church of Naperville family, Pastor Angel Escamilla, he was in charge of the Spanish ministry, which my parents are huge parts of. And he had been diagnosed with corona, I think maybe last week, and just this past Sunday he passed away. So it's a huge wake-up call, I think, to my parents. I think they're in the category of people who are still unsure of what to make of all this, that corona is kind of still an abstract idea for them, not understanding that you seriously do need to keep your distance. It's not just because we're being paranoid, it's because of genuine safety precautions, that we can't just be going over to people's houses, or we can't just be hugging on people like left and right. So I think it was a huge wake-up call for them, but it was also a huge loss for them. I mean, that was their best friend and mentor for many years. Given all that, I think it's woken them up, and hence why today I'm their daughter, and they didn't even come close to me. They didn't even come close to kissing me or giving me a hug, as much as I know that they wanted to. It's just social distancing, and it just makes me wonder genuinely what the effect of this is going to have for us as a society, because if own family members, like flesh and blood, aren't even willing to like hug you right off the bat, like how are we going to operate when we're in a public setting? Like, is this 6 foot already taped squares down on the floor going to be a regular thing? You know, are we going to be required to wear face masks all the time? I don't know. It was a weird interaction to have with my parents. A definite one I never thought I would have ever, that they wouldn't immediately come up and kiss me. I'm so grateful, to say the least, to see them physically. That was really cool. To get gifts from them, obviously. I'm very appreciative of that. And I hope you all are doing well, and I hope everybody is staying safe and taking whatever precautions necessary. All right, I'll pray. Dear God, thank you so much, Father, for this time together, God. Even if it's from distance, Jesus, I thank you that we're still able to see each other and love each other from a distance, God. Bless my parents on their way home and bless them for their generosity, for bringing all of this unexpected goodness to our house. And I just pray that you continue to protect them, and that soon enough all this will be over and we can all be together again soon. In your name, amen.
Amen.